Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome into the Dragon's Den. My name is Digital Dragon. I'm a 3D printing variety streamer here on Twitch. And you may say, well, what does that mean? Well, it means we do everything from printer unboxings, such as things like the Bamboo Labs over here, to printer modifications, such as the Mark IV, which you cannot see at the moment, which is right behind me, where we added the MMU3 to it, to various others. All right, cool peasants. To various other printers, such as our Vorods over here, some down here, our Annex Engineering K3. We do some prototyping, such as our 0G Mercury 1. And we also do some just basic prints, such as some of the helmets you see in the background. Today, we're going to be talking about our VzBot 235, which you can kind of see right here down below. It is printing a test print. I've been working on doing some input shaping and other tuning. So we'll go over some of those prints today. I am kind of stepping back a little bit because the CPAP blower on this is very, very loud. So one of the things we will be working on while we're talking tonight is actually getting these side panels ready to go on. I have one just leaning up against this side to kind of at least keep some of the noise from coming this way towards the mic. But yeah, we really need to get some panels on this printer to make her a little bit more quiet and get her ready to go on the line behind us. So welcome on in, Mr. Wizix Tugboat. How's it going? Pezliz, welcome on in as always. As you can see, there has been some changes to the Dragon Den. We went down to the Micro Center down in Charlotte that just opened. Well, technically it opens up June 7th, which is this weekend. I had early access to the store during its soft opening and had some conversations with Mrs. Dragon. So you will see that there is a second Bamboo X1C sitting here with an AMS. The one over here is currently printing out some parts in ABS that will be used for the TS101 soldering iron, along with the storage for the rest of the tips from my CNC Kitchen heat set insert tool. And then the other X1 Carbon has been printing off some parts such as, oh, one second. We bring this over, we might be able to change some screens easier. Such as the Bamboo Labs tool holder. And, you know, that holds tools like AMS Power Tool, AMS Buffer Tool to release the PTFE tube at the buffer, to the hot end wire tool. Somehow there's two of those in there. I'm not sure if it's supposed to have two or not. The buffer fork. Not sure what the buffer fork's used for. And finally, the AMS hubs. This releases the PTFE tube at the other side. And just like that, we've got our 6 basic tools in here. We will get a scraper going, and we'll have some places for some other parts. But this is Polymaker Polyterra Charcoal Black and Polymaker Silk Gold. We also have a Bamboo Lab box here, and this will, whoops, be able to hold other accessories like the spare hot ends, the grease packets, and other tools that came with the actual kit. So the Bamboo Lab, the new one, is up and working once again. This seems to be the charcoal black, and the silk gold is going to be the parts for the new Bamboo Lab. So, oh, did K2 just get in? Hey, RFS 3D, welcome on in. There we go, K2. Everything's printed in Polyterra charcoal black and Polymaker silk gold. So this is off the new one that we just picked up. The first one, it doesn't have the words printed on all the tools, but it is the Galaxy Black and a gray. So I have tools for both of my Bamboo Labs. I do already have the desiccant holders in them, and I did the ones that have the the spot for the hygrometers in it. So there's the new one's hanging out about 10%, and the other one's hanging out at 12%. So doing the loose silicate or silica and the printed parts really helps to keep the the humidity level down in your AMS. Thank you, Pezliz, for posting those links. And then what else? I've done a plate of my maker coins on it already, so that's working out really well. And then this noise maker right here, like I said, we've got to get some panels on it. She's loud, and I've got the CPAP down to a max of, I think, 60%. So yeah, it's kind of loud, but so far on this, I have done the temp tower. I did a extrusion test. Flow rate, I think, is what they refer to it in Orca Slicer. I did the retraction test, which came out really good. There's like no wisp or anything in there. So right now, I think my retraction is set at the default of 0.2. I did pressure advanced tuning. So I got an initial pressure advanced tuning set up. And then, believe it or not, this would be the second manual input shaper test I did, because the first one was printing at ludicrous speed, I'll say, the default speed in Orca Slicer, and I didn't get any ringing, but I also couldn't tell if there was any ringing because I was outrunning the hot end and the temperature. So I'm doing this in PLA. This is a gray, so hopefully you can see the ringing there. So I went ahead and did the marks. Ooh, did the marks, did all the calculations. I like to write directly on these models. So I got my X and my Y input shapers in, and I just ran this with these tuned values, and was it MBZ input shaper itself. I tend to like that one better than any of the others. I don't have a way of doing automated input shaping on this yet. There's no CAN bus toolhead board that would have it. I do have some accelerometers. I would have to figure out a mount, or I can, I don't know, order a Beacon H and install a different fan, or not fan, but a different fan duct, and mount a Beacon H on it. The config's already there in the print config file. So all I would have to do is get it mounted, install the software for the beacon, and the new firmware for beacon contact, which was just released. And I would be able to do my input shaping with the beacon and then do bed meshing and um, like a beacon contact, which give you a tap style um, bed mesh capability, the offset. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. The new Bamboo X1C has been fabulously. Um, couldn't help it. They had them on sale, and I got some extra on it, so I was able to talk Mrs. Dragon into letting me get it. Yeah. So far, that's kind of been where we're at. I did a basic. I mean, right now, all I have is a basic manual leveling. Right. I've uh, put in the coordinates to line up the nozzle right over the bed screws, and I have added the information in there to do what we call bed screws adjust. What that allows you to do is it brings the nozzle directly over the screw head, and then you use the old paper method, or you can use like a 0.1 millimeter shim and put it underneath there and look for the tension, and you just tighten or unscrew your bed screw until you get tension at the same, roughly the same amount on all four corners, and then that sets your bed level. So when I have done this on other printers, such as the Bugaboo, which uses a very similar setup to the dual lead screws. No, I think that one uses dual. Bugaboo is a triple lead screw, but it's still one motor, built-in Z with one motor. And once I got that set and I've set the bed, I haven't had to adjust the bed at all. It stays rock solid, and I'm printing out Toys for Tots on it. So, hey there, Royal Nobi, welcome in. How are you doing? So yeah, I've been basically going through and running a bunch of prints from K2 Kevin over on the Bamboo. I've got the AMS, so the tube that comes out of the AMS to the buffer. I've got that printed part printed out, and I've got the other two parts that go at the coupler at the top, which helps keep things from, from tube bending and getting some misalignment or jams there. And then I just printed out like a plate of 8. What did I do with them? A print of 8 of these, because they go on once, and then when you try and take them off, if you have to do some maintenance piece, you will normally crack the bottom down here. So if you're going to do them, just do a whole plate of them. They're pretty quick and easy print. Do them in a high temp filament. These are Fusion Filament ABS 1.5 nanotube gray. So pick a temperature tolerant filament, print a bunch of them out, print a whole plate of them out, and just keep them there as spares. Because like I said, if you ever have to clear out a filament jam that's causing a constant trigger of the filament sensor in the tool head, you're gonna have to take the tube out, probably pop this out to get a tool down in there to push that filament through. And then once you get that cut piece of filament pushed through, you're probably gonna have to replace it, crack the housing down at the bottom. So plating, yes. So there has been some cleaning done around the Dragon Den. Like I said, I had to do some rearranging last night to make some night before one of these nights. So we're gonna turn this around. So I've got a lot of filament here that's just kind of sitting in the way that I've got to move. I currently have Kyber Dragon moved down, and then everything kind of slid one position down to the side. So Kyber Dragon's down here now, and then we've got the Mark IV down here. It's printing off some more coins. Once again, it's feeding out of a rep box right over here that you can't see because it's behind other stuff. And then, like I said, everything kind of moved down so that we can put the second X1C right next to the first one. Eventually, this area down here is going to get cleaned out as well. And something else is going to go here. Either going to be the VzBot, or the VzBot goes over in the back corner and the Ender XY will come over here next to the TiVo Tarantula. So when am I going to get a banner? Probably soon, RFS 3D. So there's some decisions that have been going on in the Dragon Den. There is going to be a LLC created soonish, so that we can, one, start actually using some of these travel expenses to shows and stuff as a business expense, and at the very least be able to get some relief on taxes, if not anything else. But yeah, and I'm getting asked more and more to make some one-off parts for people, or do full, like, hey, can you print all the parts for my printer? Yes, I can. And as I do that, I'm going to start charging. So there will be something, and then there will be a banner that will go up here while we're, I'll say, in garrison, because that's my military term. So while we're at home, the banner will come up here behind the printers, and then it'll come down and go with us when we go to shows, and then go across the table. That is going to happen. There's a few other surprises that will be coming to the channel soon. So trash day for checking for items for a yard sale. Okay. Yeah, the other thing I was doing yesterday was trying to get the old bed out of the spare bedroom and put the day bed that we brought back from Colorado, my mother-in-law's, together in that room, so that we can then start rearranging some other stuff and getting a desk put in there for Dragon, which at IKEA when we went up to Micro Center. And that's when we realized that we have bed frame, the mattresses and everything, but we don't have the bolts to bolt the bed frame back together. So Amazon will be delivering those tomorrow. And I'll be working to get that put together so that we can, that saga. Yeah, I really need to start doing something with all of my stickers, because I have way too many stickers. Which I know is a bad thing to say. You can never truly have too many stickers. I have just a plethora. Yeah, I want to work on getting the panel together. And because my panels already have holes drilled for the RSCS, the remote static, I don't know, the remote air system, side skirt cooling, right? We are going to install those. Even if we don't wire them up immediately, they will get installed so that we can get this printer somewhat enclosed, because she's just loud. She is way loud. Let me clean off bed skirt here. One of the other things I need to verify is whether or not some of the calibration tests, and if Zombie's here, I know he would know probably. Others may know well. So this has a 0.5 nozzle on it. And also you'll see, I'll just take this and go straight back, lay it down. I do have 2 screws. I wound up moving the thermistor, the ceramic thermistor, and the, not the ceramic thermistor, but the ceramic fuse and the ground to the outer 2 holes. And I put an M3 by 10 from the bottom up, because that gives me 2 screws that are right at the height of the PEI sheet that I can then butt the PEI sheet up against. With the way it's designed, it's designed to have those screws on the inside that you use as the alignment peg. So, hey Jedi Spidey, welcome on in. Thank you for the raid of 4. Thank you so much. Raiders, if you could do me a favor, and down below your window, you'll see my icon, the Dragon Den icon. If you could click that twice, that will bring you fully into my stream. I'd appreciate it. Just helps out the numbers, keeps the numbers going. And speaking of the numbers, we are going to stop tonight. It's going to be a slower, chiller night tonight because, one, the printer is physically pushing plastic. We're now seeing that plastic that is being pushed. I do see another little bit of ringing, but not showing up nearly as much as it was. So I'll continue to tune this somewhat. But other than, I don't know why it paused right in the middle. I think I caught something. But where I was going was, I have a 0.05 nozzle on here. My print profile is set to 0.5, but I am wondering if the calibration test of Orca Slicer actually picks up your nozzle size and accounts for it, or if it defaults to a 0.4. I'd have to check the actual G code that gets spit out to see if that's the case. But even still, you know, like I said, there's a little bit of ringing left. I'm going to continue to tune on this. And by the way, this gray is Jesse Premium PLA Overcast Gray from Printed Solid. So I like to do gray when you're doing your initial tuning, because gray shows so many faults in a print. Okay, if you're using like a black, like a Galaxy Black or something like that, it overshadows and it's really hard to see the issues with a print. Gray is always good to show the issues with. Venom: The Last Dance? Oh, nice. I didn't know there was going to be a new Venom out. Yeah, it should be a vase styles print. So what is the wall thickness? So it says, so I'm doing the manual resonance test from the Voron, or not Voron, Clipper resonance guide. And it says 1 to 2 walls. I did 2 perimeters. I think 4 at the base, got rid of the infill in the top because it's not needed. Excuse me. Um, like I said, I'm going to look at this. I'm going to keep tuning it. I need to just see what the G code spits out because I'm curious to see if it accounts for the 0.5, which is what my wall width is set to, or if it resets it um, to something else. I just need to double check. It's something I need to do. But yeah, all in all, it's printing well. The flow is really good. Printing very good. Layer lines is good. If I get that obtuse angle though, you can see even now there's a little bit of ringing. There's still a little bit of ringing showing up. Um, but I'm just going to continue to print and play with it. That's the biggest thing is just tuning in the printer. Once I get it printing, which we're now printing, then it becomes a lot easier to, uh, tune in, dial in settings and stuff like that. But this will be most likely the last time you'll see the VzBot on the um, bench for a little while because I'm going to get the side panels and the door on it. We're going to get it over here onto the bench somewhere. We're going to figure out the space for the bench and it's going to live over there and continue to get some print time on it. But the black box is going to come up here onto the table because in order to start doing things like pig tuning of the tool heads on the black box, I have to put water in it, which means at that point, I'm going to put it up here and it's staying up here until it comes down for Rocky Mountain. Because I don't want to move it with water in it if I don't have to. But it will be staying up here until Rocky Mountain. So yeah, I would definitely have to check that. Oh, you got the Rook printed parts in. Awesome, Tugboat. Sorry I missed that there. Um, so on the Rook printed parts, there should have also been a extruder in there and the hot end in that box. And some extra swag and stuff that you may find in there through the various boxes parts. KB3D Chris has everything and I should be on the way to you as of today. Um, I didn't get a shipment notification. I'm not sure if you guys did, but somebody should have gotten a shipment notification of the parts, but it is coming from KB3D. Need to I have to double triple check because for whatever reason it's sticking in the back of my head now that I might not have gotten the extruder motor like the round pancake motor shipped in that order. Is so I think I've got a spare back here I'll grab and throw in the mail. But once again, we'll take a look. Once you get all the stuff from KB3D, let me know. If it gets there quickly, maybe we can schedule it in and do the build of that ahead of Earth. If not, then we'll do it afterwards. Um, but as we see here in chat, oh, sorry, we are going to have a hard deadline of 8 p.m. tonight because our raid target tonight is going to be Karen Chow, Karen Chow Designs. She is going to be doing a presentation today on creating, I believe it was a Google website, um, which a lot of us could probably use and would be useful for us. Hey, West 31, welcome in. I know for one, it might be something good for me, and I know Mrs. Dragon's getting ready to have to do that exact thing right now. So we're going to be tuning in and paying attention, taking copious notes and stuff like that. So just be prepared around 8 p.m. We're going to jump over there and do that. But meanwhile, I do want to kind of get started here. Um, and Wester, you see, Dragoon 1, Dragoon 2. So this one's currently printing some stuff in ABS. This one's been printing stuff in this one's been printing stuff in PLA. Currently loaded up with um, Polymaker PLA white, silk gold, red, and Polyterra charcoal black, because we're going to be, that's the color scheme for my maker coins. So we'll get this going again real. So we can get another set of maker coins. But of course, you know, we need to have our tools. So we've printed out the latest version of the tools that have the tool name on them. So we got the AMS power, the AMS buffer, the AMS hub. We'll have the place for scrapers and other tools and accoutrements. And then I also printed out this box, once again, Polyterra charcoal black and Polylite silk gold PLA. And this is the accessory kit that will hold the spare hot end, the heater block, nozzles. You'll have the spot for the tools, the grease, and all of that stuff in. So it just becomes a nice little case to hold your spares instead of keeping that brown box laying around. So we'll be using that. We've been printing out some parts, well, not parts, but we've been doing test prints out here on the VzBot 235. It is up and running. It is pushing plastic. It is loud. My first printer that uses the CPAP blower. The two things I've already done is installed the muffler back here, which just means instead of the air going directly into the turbine fan, it's pulling it from the side through a muffler, and which has helped. And then I've also limited it to 60% as the max power. So basically, slow the fan down, right? The fan movement is what's making the noise, so we did that. So yeah. So how are you doing, Westery? Hey, Westery. Mia has a box arriving tomorrow. So just letting you know, Mia has a package arriving tomorrow. So what we're gonna do is jump over to this window now, and we're gonna continue to start to put together our RCS, which stands for Remote Static Cooling System. I'm gonna assume. Which is a pair of cooling fans that get mounted onto the enclosure panel and provide skirt cooling directly across at the height of the spool head. So more fans, yes, yet more fans, but it's really going to be there if you're going to be like trying to go really, I'll say, balls to the wall on your print speeds, which I normally don't. These probably won't be even used a lot of the time if I'm running ABS or another high temp filament, because you don't want to add cooling to ABS you'll cause it to warp and crack, especially with the fans that get used in here, which are 7530 radial fans. So, yeah. And it's great because it talks about use the M3 hardware to put the RCS or RSCS together as shown below. It doesn't tell you what actually to use where. So I've been using the CAD to figure it out that this was a M3 by 6 or 8 button head screw and an M3 nut at the bottom. So if you see a iodine or the black screws, that's mine. All the hardware that came in this kit was the silver or the stainless steel. So if you see a dark color screw, it's because I had to pull out of my own stock to use it because there wasn't enough screws of the right size. Once again, these are optional. You do not have to install them. However, my pre-cut panels have the holes already drilled in the panel for them. So if you don't use them, then you have a lot of holes in your panels, which, once again, high pressure, high volume, or it's a constant pressure air pump is what a CPAP is. And if you've got gaps like holes, it's going to be sucking the air through those holes, and it's going to make it even louder. You'll get that loud whistling. So if we're putting the panels on, we want to go ahead and spend the time to mount these. I'm going to throw that out there. Now I'm looking at the way certain things mount on here. It shows your lower fan piece. This is where I'm going to have to look at the CAD to figure out which way they go. Or actually, I can tell right now it mounts this way. It's going to go like that. So, yes, this is the right orientation. Lurk phone. Okay. Enjoy your phone call. I understand that. So, yeah, so we're going to start trying to get this stuff assembled. Like I said, I'm not going to do the wiring right now. I'll work on the wiring later, probably off stream, just because, I mean, you've seen me do wiring. You've seen me connect two fans together. It's pretty much the same thing. We're going to extend these wires, and quite honestly, to make the panels easier to take off, I'm going to swap out the JSTs for microfits and make sure that that microfit connection's on the inside of the chamber. That way, if I have to take the panels off, I can reach in, undo the microfit, and I can take the panel off without having to worry about a wire that goes all the way back to the back end, right? So try and clean things up like that. Hey, Timor, welcome on in, and thank you for the lurk. So once again, these are big Chungus fans compared to what we're used to. These are, once again, size-wise not listed on here, but I want to say they were 7530s. Yeah, 7530 radial fans. So big chunkers. And the way this gets mounted, the output is going to be shooting up through the bottom here. Fan is going to get slid in and mounted just like this. And the mounts, it actually shows the bolt head being on the inside versus the outside of the panel. And it goes through the panel, which would mean that you would have either the nut or either an M3 nut or a M3 lock nut on the outside of the panel. I would prefer to have the screw head, the button head on the outside because it's going to look cleaner. And then put whatever bolt I'm going to use on the inside. So, hey Shrimp Father 13, how are you doing? Welcome on in. So I'm going to take a quick look at the Fusion 360 CAD just to figure out what those screw holes or screws were again. Say M3 by 45 button head, which I do not believe we have in the kit. I think they only went to 35s. And if so, those are not going to be long enough. Yeah, I've got M3 by 35 socket head cap screws, which, like I said, will not be long enough because it's a 75 by 30 fan, and you have to go through the printed part and a 3mm acrylic. So 35 is just not going to do it. Don't think there was any longer ones in pairs. So let me see if I've got some M335s in my own stock. And I do. It would be great. So yes, I do have M335s, but I also have M345s, which I think will do better. And once again, trying to see how the panel needs to go to fit this. So what we're going to wind up doing is we're going to come through the panel. We're going to go through the printed part and the fan. If I can get the printed part and fan to line up. We're going to go printed part, fan, through the other side of the printed part. And then because this is going to be a high vibration area, I'm actually going to put a lock nut on this. Then we'll lock nut this down. Once we get one done, we can more easily get the other side done. Get the lock nuts started. And once again, I've got room on the inside if this bolt is a little bit long. What I won't have is room on the, well, on the outside, it just means more chance of catching it and ripping a panel off or something of that nature, which would be, I would say, bad. After going through all this, if we ripped a panel off, it would be a sad day. Catching on. This is see what it really need to have this fully lined because it cannot rotate up. It has to be lined up bottom up. do is do this. How's it going, Trip Father? Hope your day is going well. Hope your day is going well. But yeah, we're getting closer to Midwest Rep Rap Festival. And I know there's several people that are going to that show, like Liz and me and a few others. So if anybody's going, Westery's going too. She just doesn't know it yet. If anybody's going, definitely look me up. We will be there. We will have a booth again, or not a booth, but a maker table set up to show off printers and printed parts and all the goodies. Liz, are you going to have your own setup there, or are you going to be hanging out at Polymaker's booth again, or Zombie's booth? Hey, Chewy, how's it going? 2 streams in 1 month? So what we're doing here, Chewy, is we need to get panels on this girl because she's loud. She is loud. She is noisy. She's curious. This is the first printer I've had with a CPAP, and it's so you have a maker space with a few tables. Kevin, Zombie, Maker Deck, Joe, Mike, Glendon, etc. Okay, cool. Yeah, and the maker bricks. Okay, nice, nice. Yeah. We're gonna be set up. We're gonna try and get set up near KB3D again, especially because we're gonna have a black box. KB3D is gonna have a black box. I think there may be at least one other black box that's there, so that's gonna be neat. Was a 3x10. I think I've still got some of those. So yeah, there's going to be quite a few people that, well, I say quite a few, but there's going to be several iterations of black box there, which will be nice. I was going to say, since I am doing black on some of these, I think I'm going to do black on all of them. In this case, just because. But the good news is we're going to be there. We're going to have lots of fun. We're going to hang out with everybody. Yeah, I think it's going to be lots of fun. So here we've got the RCS system. There's supposed to be a couple of printed parts that I may not have actually printed. I also don't know why, what the specific reason they would be there for, since this part is basically going to slide in, and then we're going to put screws and nuts directly through this. I'm not sure what that other part brings to the table. Once again, we're going to have an M3 by 10 that goes through there. And I am choosing to do a lock nut versus standard nut because it, I think we're going to see some vibration on this. I mean, pretty hefty fan. And the printer itself is going to be shaking around some. So I think doing a lock nut here is probably not a bad idea. That's when you drop said lock nut. And looking at this, I might have to try and go up to like a 12. Just give a couple more threads to play with. Maybe go with a 12 and a washer on the inside. But yeah, Chewy's printer is going to be there. Hopefully Chewy's there to get his printer. But yeah, Chewy's printer is going to be there, which was a 2.4 that we built a little while ago on stream. In fact, that was after Earth last year, or 3D Printopia, which is what it's being called now. So I did see that you said that you got your package, Tugboat. That is awesome. And I had made a comment that let me know when KB3D's Chris's pack or the KB3D package gets there. And I cannot remember. I remember he sent the bomb to me and asked if it was good. And for some reason, I may have blipped and not. I can't remember. I'll have to look at it to see if there was a motor spec'd out in the order for the extruder. If not, I've got one here. I can get it on its way to you. The 14 millimeter pancake motor. So similar to what would be used in a orbiter or something like that. So I just need to double check whether or not it was in there or if I need to send it to you. This is being a pickle. This is where I was saying using a M3 by 12 might actually work out a little bit better at getting these screws started. And tighten up. That away, we'll grab an M3 by 12, which will give me a little bit more to work with. See if I can find the M3 lock nut that I just dropped on the ground. We really need to do like a Friday night stream and turn me dropping screws and bolts on the ground as a drinking game for our adult beverage people. There, just want a second one. Man, the vacuum cleaner is going to either love me or hate me. So the extruder itself is just the extruder. It does not have the motor. I need to double check to see if the bill of materials that KB3D is shipping had that in it or not, because I approved it the other day, and honest to God, I cannot remember if it does. So, yeah, we may have to, I may have to order that on the side and get it shipped out to you real fast. But we'll make that happen. Okay, oh, I'd like to say, where's my driver? But it's right here. And yeah, I would not be trying to drink Chewy, but yeah, this is, we'll have like a 3-second rule in place that if I can easily find it, see it, and pick it up, then it doesn't count. But if I have to, if it takes longer than that, then it would have to be maybe a Bean Boozle or something like that, since I don't drink anymore. But yeah, it's becoming too much of a habit for me to drop Thurs. Okay. So one side is now installed. What we're going to do is we're just going to take the wire and it's just going to go around the side like that. And this is then going to mount in our frame using, looks like M3 hardware. Does it actually show the bolts on the... Not. However, each one of these spots, it's going to go through a printed part, through the acrylic, and into the side panel here. So what I am going to do is very carefully, so I don't knock anything over that doesn't need to be knocked over. I'm going to move my screws off to the side. Put them back in here where they're safe. I'm going to lay the printer on its side, not bothering to take the filament out or anything, or turn it off for that matter, because why on earth will we do that? And mount one side up. Hey, Killer Dragon, how's it going? Hope you are doing well. Oh, I'm like, what is it sitting on? It's power cord. Okay. Whew. So I'm going to go ahead and get some M3. I want to do this. Do we want to do, you know what? Let's do some hammer nuts on these. or at least as many as we can. We've got 38 pieces in there, so it's probably not going to be all of them, but I think it would probably be a little bit better than trying to do all of the panels with the roll-in T-nuts, because I know I'm going to have some issues getting those laid in there. And the corner piece. Got bigger corner pieces and I've got smaller corner pieces. Not smaller corner pieces, but smaller side brackets. We just dump out what I've got here and then we'll start working from. That's that. That's a door hinge. This door hinge. Door piece. Door piece. Door. Door. Okay. So sides look like they've got like these pieces. Based on what I'm seeing on the CAD. Interesting. So I've got these pieces and then I've got these pieces, which aren't as cool looking. So I think what I'll do is I'll see if, ooh, these might not be the right ones anyhow. So the dark with the green, I believe, are the actual top pieces. Are they? Yep. These are the top pieces in a different layout. These are the corner pieces, of which did not print enough. So that's going to be. The question is are we using M3x8 or M3? We're going to wind up ends. Let's see if the 8's close to fitting. All right, Killer Dragon, good. We're going to go until about 8 p.m. And at 8 p.m. we're going to jump over to Karen Chow Designs. So gotcha. So there's our M3x8 that goes through the printed part, through the 3mm acrylic. It's really good work for what we're trying to do right now. And if we need to, or if I try and put it on there, we may have to switch over to the M3x10s, but I think the M3x8s will work for now through these parts. Once again, it comes down to, it doesn't necessarily say, and it doesn't even show it in the CAD. It just kind of shows the various pieces. Let me flip over here and show the CAD. So we've got different style of pieces in the CAD. So we've got these corner brackets here. We've got these flatter kind of mid brackets go on in a couple of places. And then we've got these weird corner brackets up here at the kind of where that middle crossbar goes through. So what we need to do is get these ready to go. It would probably work out if we did the roll-in T-nuts. But like I said, my biggest fear is not having enough or getting them in there and not having play, and I mar up the frame trying to get the parts in there. So getting our locking nut or our hammerheads in there and all oriented in the right direction is going to be fun as well, but at least this way I know I'm not going to mar the frame up. Process of trying to get the hammerheads in there to begin with. And I've only got pieces to do the one side right now. I won't be able to do the other side of the printer just at this moment. I'm going to have to print some new pieces out, which I might be able to get up and running tonight. These are the nanotube gray. So the part that I was printing in the nanotube gray just finished. So should be able to flip this over and get these going tonight, and probably put the other panel on while we're watching Karen Chow. Have a good one, Killer Dragon. We'll see you around. I think I've got enough of the parts done. It's just enough of the rest of the parts. It's just going to be the 4 corner brackets. But just going to get all of these set up on the printed part here. And I just realized I thought this was going to be the side facing me. It's not, it's the other side. Notice that because there's the door hinge. Which is okay. It just means we have to pick the printer back up, and we'll probably try and put it on from the side anyway. Show you what I mean. This display. So as I'm starting to get this set up, there's going to be spot right here where I've got 2 holes that I believe looks like it's going to door hinge piece, or maybe not. Maybe not. But what I'm seeing here is there's an extra hole right. Oh, how much you want to bet? Got you. Got you. So no, I'm good. You'll have an extra hole on one side depending on which side of the printer you put your spool holder on. There we go. Yeah, because this is the top row. Will be the other. Okay. Yep. That's what it is. Depends on which side you're going to put your spool holder on. And I think mine's going on other side, right side of the printer. All the door stuff is going to be on the front side. I see. Go in with out. Angled piece going up and out. I don't know why they did these in a different style. And pieces I'm talking about are these pieces here. I don't know why they did them in a different style versus doing the same style that they were doing for the other middle piece. I don't know. I just think aesthetically it would have been better if it was either a square or a full rectangle like all the other middle mounting pieces were. Okay, I think I've got screw on everything. Line up the screws in the direction. Said than done. Oh wow, that popped in rather nicely. I just put my driver at. Oh. What we'll do is we'll just get these lined up nicely. Hope that our hammerhead nut spins. Looks like it did. Matter of setting all these heads. Hey, Chewy. Yeah, they had to be special. I tell you though, sometimes it's why. Why do we have to have special? I mean, if it was like matching a certain design parameter, then that would make a little bit more sense to me, but it it doesn't seem to be. To me, it just seems like a, oh, well, we wanted an angle there, but the 45-degree corners make sense. Why these are angled like that, I don't know. This really don't make much sense to me. Yeah, it might have looked good in the CAD file. Saved a tiny bit of plastic too. So we got everything there. So that's one side done. And I can tell you, I'm not going to have enough M3x8s to do the other side. So the other side is going to have to be a mixture of 8s and 10s. Just the way it happens. That's what your side skirt cooling is going to look like. It lines up right with the edge of the side rails here. The Z mounts lines up right there, goes right over the top of the Z screw. So very, very nice design aesthetic there. And what I'll do is I'll just try and turn this around a bit. There we go. And see if I can just, I'm not worried about whether or not I have enough of the T-nuts. I've got plenty of T-nuts. If I need to substitute screws, I'll substitute screws. It's no big deal. I just might not have all silver. I'll make that happen. Yep. So pop this up. There we go. So this is the back panel with the electronics. Once again, sorry about the very bright LEDs there, but the electronics back is on. It's just simply another piece of acrylic with the VzBot logo on it that just covers up the electronics from the side of the power supply to side of the power supply. So I think that comes out really nice. It comes all the way down to the bottom here, so it does cover your mains wiring, so you shouldn't have hands down here. So I think that looks pretty good. The ribbon cable over here is the one that goes to the monitor. It is literally just running under the printer. I'm actually wondering, because there was like a thought of whether I could bring it through, but there's really no way of bringing it underneath the belt safely and out one of the little holes under the base and bring it in. So right now it's just going right underneath That's something that I can fish through if I want to bring it through the inside of the printer later on. But yeah, once again, the side skirt comes up and that air is going to blow straight across here. And once I get this other panel set up, you'll kind of see how that's going to work. Let's see if I can speed build this now that I've got it somewhat figured out. See if I can't speed build this one in the next 30 minutes. Probably not. Static electricity is kind of crazy on these. Oh, well, we'll figure that out. This is the bottom. It's going to be the top. Go like that with these back here. Yeah, so this one back here is going to be the mounting point for the spool holder. Where sometimes words are hard. The spool holder, which I do not believe I have printed out. I don't have the corner bracket, so I will put this on temporarily and have to take it back off. Listen, actually a few pieces. So I may not have all the pieces I need to do the other side. And I don't. So I really need to print like a whole other side. Once again, this is going to be the rugged box for the TS-101. Hold the TS-101 in the center, the soldering iron portion on the top, holes down the bottom left will be for the tips themselves. Put that together with a couple of M3 screws. Second, let me see if I can find the file to start getting it. Oh, and what if I told you that didn't have it or have it? I'm going to have to I'll have to look and find it out. We'll go ahead and mount the fan on the side. I'll have a couple of pieces that I can use. Just mount it on 4 pieces there to get it mounted, and then we'll go from there and work on the doors. And I'll have to just take it off and reinstall it after the fact. Here we're going to have the other fan, and it's got to slide in there, get everything lined up. And what I'm going to do is take one of my M3 by 45s. And put it in this way to hold the one side in. So when I go to put the other side in, I'm only fighting, well, it's lined up, because if I don't do this, then the front side, or the higher side towards the front of the printer, will rotate down. And as soon as it does that, then it's out of alignment, and I can't get it to roll back up into the printed part easily. And as I say that, I had actually dropped the screw out. So luckily I managed to get both of them in there and started. Lock screws, or lock nuts. So Chewy, other than work, what have you been up to? You been able to do any 3D printing stuff? Hey, Giggy Jack, welcome in. What screen did I have on my Rook? Good question. I'll have to check. And now that you mention it, that's the other thing that it didn't come with, is it's not coming with a Raspberry Pi, and it's not coming with a screen, because technically, well, the Raspberry Pi is normally a self-source. I don't think KB3D even carries or stocks them. I can probably get one out to you if you can't get one at your local micro center. I can get one out to you, because I just picked up 4 of them myself. And then the screen, I'm going to have to actually look at which screen I used. Because, yeah, in your use case, the screen's going to come in handy, and I don't know why I didn't think about that. So, good news is we don't need that initially to get the build going. So I'll get a screen on order, and when I send out the extruder motor, I'll also send out a screen and a Raspberry Pi. So this is going to slide down in the top just like that. We're going to come from the outside in with M3 by 12 screws, because it'll make it a little bit easier for us to get our lock nuts on it. Come in with M3 by 12 screws from these outer holes. Okay. A Raspberry Pi 3B will work just fine. You can use a 3B or a 4, and I'll figure out what the screen is, and I'll send you the screen info so you can get one ordered. Most likely it's, well, not most likely. I know it's a Big Tree Tech screen, and I normally order mine off of Amazon versus the BuyQ website, because if you order it off the BuyQ website, it comes from overseas and it takes forever. Winds up being a little bit cheaper, but it just takes multiple weeks, where if you do it off of Amazon, you know, you'll get it in a couple days normally. So again, be careful as you are setting these up so that you don't scratch your acrylic. You don't want to really crank down on them, because you will crack your acrylic, which would be another bad day, another sad day. Yeah. Take your time, be careful as you're setting these things up. Once again, we're going to come in at the spots where we'll use our, whoops, our little flat pieces. I don't have any of the corners ready to go, and I'm not sure. Probably going to have to open the project and see if I can, if I just didn't send it over to the printer, because if you send to the printer, then it goes into the like saved print queue. If you don't, then it goes into the history, but it doesn't save. I'll save for future use. So I just have to figure out which way I did it. Two, little ones on. Here. You can get a Raspberry Pi off of Amazon. So I ordered a couple of Pi 4s off Amazon, and then I went down to Micro Center and picked up 2 while I was there, which, let me tell you, apparently you're only allowed to get 1 per order. So the first one rang up the regular price, and the second one rang up as $99,000 or $9,999 or something like that. And I kind of looked at the lady and said, "No, you can keep that one." And she goes, "Oh, no, never mind. You have to do it as a separate transaction." I was like, "Oh, okay, no problem. I can do that, but I ain't paying, $10,000 for a Raspberry Pi. That's a little insane." So we have one here, one goes here. There would be one here. The rectangular one back here is the filament holder or the spool holder. So I'm like one short on this piece. And then of course I'll need my 4 corners. So the 4 corners, seriously. the four corners, the spool holder. Don't ask me why I didn't do the spool holder. And you. Okay. I think we'll be like this. And like I said, I'll get a little bit of practice in the frustration as I have to take it back off to do the all the corner brackets, but I'll probably put it on its side when I go to do that because it'll be a little bit easier to get all these spun around in the right direction. Okay, so four corners, one of the rectangular pieces, and a spool holder. Whew. And our wires, like I said, I'm probably going to crimp them around here. I'll do a microfit 3 connector so I can put it down, run it right with the bundle through here. Same thing on this side. I'll bring the wire down. I'll put a microfit 3 connector somewhere around here and come out of there, go through this side, bring them both back up and wire them into the back. For now, they're just going to sit there. They're out of the way of the stepper motors. We need to add the lower hinges and do our hinge pieces for the doors here. Ugh. Spin that around. The reverse Bowden tube pieces in here are pretty neat little system. It's it's just a little mount. It screws in with one screw. The panel is not threaded. It's actually drilled for a through hole. So I ran the screw all the way through the back panel and put a lock nut on the back to hold it in place. And then you put a PTFE fitting into the front and run your tube out through the back here. It works out pretty well. And this one, I printed out both for this side. I did one as this is the PC4 M6 pass-through. This is a PC4 M10. This is the one I have there. This one would be a spare. I could mirror it and run it out this side as well. There's a hole on each side. And I've got a bunch of those pieces. So what do we have for the front? It talks about mount the RCS to the panel when drilling the holes. Make sure the duct is approximately 5 millimeters above the Z-rods. Right now, ours are right in line with the Z-rods. I'll keep an eye on it, and if I need to, it can be adjusted up. So I would just loosen the 2 side screws. I can roll it up a little bit and then retighten them, and that way we'll make sure that we get a good space in there. Or they might be properly aligned based on the CNC mounts. I don't know. So this looks like it's talking about the doors. Insert the M3 hardware in the side and front narrow panel using the available trim piece shown below. When everything lines up, screw everything down, starting with the bolts in the middle outward. I don't know if it's talking about laying the outer panels in place there. Top cover, I've already got the top cover installed. It's literally, you've got a magnet, and then the top piece bolts through into the lower piece that holds the magnet using 2 M3 bolts. And then there's corner brackets in here that hold the magnet on the other side. And you've got cutouts for the handles, so you don't have to take the handles off. This just drops in place and magnetically holds in. That's a pretty nifty system here. I went ahead and did that off stream just because it was quick and easy. The front door hinges is what we're going to work on now. So we'll need the hinges. Go ahead and put these other parts back in here so I don't knock them off the table. Chair here. At least I'll try not to. We're going to need M4 by 40 millimeter shafts. Not done when mounting the front panels or motor mount. Okay. 4 M10 by 8, or excuse me, 8 M4 by 10s. Wow, that was. Throw that away. I did. Don't know what I did with the 8. I think I must have tossed away the M3 by 8 or M3 hammerhead nut bag, but no worries. Like I said, whatever's left's going into my hammerhead nut collection, so we'll do that for now. We need our M4 by 10s. Eight of those, 8 M4 nuts. This says T-nuts, doesn't call out which kind. Actually, calls out nuts. So, I don't know, we'll see which kind of nuts we need. Acrylic panels. Mount the hinges to their respective panels, put the door in position, and insert the 40 millimeter M4. Okay, so there are cutouts in this panel to allow for the door to open over the top of our screen. So our screen may need to be laid back or rotated down some more for the doors to open. Right. Because I don't think they go up that high. So they're not lining up. So we'll have to work on the door placement of everything, but put the door panels in the position and insert the 40 millimeter M4. So those are the top latches. Door hinges. Mount the hinges to their respective panel. That's helpful. Time to look at the CAD. Okay. So it looks like this part goes down at the lower panel. And was there a supporting trim piece? Just straight. Nope. Looks like we're just doing M4 nuts on the back. Alexa, stop. So the lower hinges are going through the printed part, through the acrylic. And I've got a corner piece here, and this has to come out because it will not let me put in the lower door hinge with that in place. So the question is can I get in there and loosen that without taking the other bracket? That should. Hey, Pezliz. Is that Pezliz trying to get my attention with the countdown going there, basically? All right, Tugboat, take it easy. Like I said, I'll hit you up and we'll get the other things squared away. So these other corner brackets, so I had to take the 4 out to mount the top. The 2 in the front have to come out, which is why we have these larger braces in the front, is to provide that additional rigidity. By the way, there may be CNC'd aluminum handles and front brackets coming. And by may, I mean there are panels coming. These will go through there, and then we'll put M4 nuts on the back and tighten them down. These would probably be good with a lot shorter hardware, but using what they provided, and I would much rather them use an existing hardware size, then add even more hardware sizes to it. What I'm going to try and do is at least get one of the doors on there so I can show you how the doors go on. Those are done. Tighten that up a bit. Once again, finger tight. You don't want to crack your acrylic. We do have some M4 pins. I haven't seen these called out for anywhere else, so I'm assuming that these are going to be our hinge pins that are going to go through on both sets of hinges, just like that. So we'll need to mount the other half of the hinge on the door panels here. And then we'll be able to get our one door put in place. But yeah, we are working on, I'll say, a deadline. So we will be cutting things short here to jump over to Karen Chow Designs as soon as we see her pop on. So Liz is going to keep me honest there. And I need some additional M4 nuts. I know I'm going to have some. I just need to find them. Got plenty of M4 hardware here. No, I've got some additional M4 actual hex nuts. M3, so it's there. 4 nuts would be this stuff. Ay, ay, ay. There we go. I knew I had them. I just had to find them. Droid building stuff stays with the droids because otherwise I will run out when I need droid stuff. When are we doing droid stuff? We're doing droid stuff right after Murph. Okay, so that's going to be the one piece. And to do the other hinge, I'm going to need to kind of get this in place on this side, hinged, and then figure out the right placement on the other side since it's got 4 different holes. That would be the one side. Placement on this side would put it in the top couple. This here. There. There. And at first you might go, hey, why don't you put some Loctite on there to keep those M4s from rattling off? Do not put Loctite on acrylic panels or through or near acrylic panels. It will cause your acrylic panels to deteriorate and you'll have a bad day. They will crack and everything will go bad. So, what we'll do is if we feel like we need, these loosen up, we'll go ahead and get some M4 locking. I may have some, I don't know. Yep, I'm waiting to see her pop on. And as soon as she pops on, we'll set up a raid to go over there. Oh, like, why is my computer dead? My computer's dead or dying because I forgot to plug it in. That could be bad. Okay. So I have not seen Karen pop on yet. Oh, there she is. She's got her starting soon screen going on. So I will try and keep an eye out of. Heck just happened there? Don't know why my computer screen just completely went off. Apparently I did not get it caught in time, so I'm gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. Maybe. There we go. It came back to life. Okay, so I'm gonna keep an eye over here. As soon as I see her screen switch to starting, like true starting, we'll go ahead and set the raid up and jump over there. Meanwhile, I just want to try and see what we're throwing together here. Panel, front door. So we had already gotten the pieces in here for our front door. We're just going to need to get them moved over in the right position. Based on where we'll need them to line up at. And then our door panel will actually get attached with a 3x6 and a nut, and then an M3x10 and a nut goes into those parts. Oh, she's up. All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and get a raid started to go over to Karen Chow. Please, everybody, come with me as we jump over there. Show her some love and show her that her topic, whoop, wrong screen. Oh my goodness. Pro streamer there. Yeah, so thank you everybody for being here tonight for this little impromptu show. I'm going to continue to get the panels put on, and then this will be off the workbench, and Thursday we'll start working on a different printer. Thank you everybody for being here. Let's go over and raid over into Karen Chow Designs and help her continue her affiliate push, support her numbers, and support her and all the great things that she does. Thanks everybody. Have a great evening. Bye now.